On today's show, we're going to travel to Chiang Mai in northern Thailand to visit a friend of mine, Andy Ricker. He owns a bunch of Pok restaurants here in America. And we started with a restaurant tour, and we went to a great grilled chicken place where they marinate the chicken overnight and serve it with really a terrific sauce. We went to Andy's house a little bit later the next day, and we made a bunch of recipes, including a great Thai-style fried rice. My takeaway was, in Thai cooking, you start with really bold, big ingredients, which makes the cooking simpler. So here at Mill Street, we're going to do a great roast chicken with Thai-style flavors and finish up with a Thai-style fried rice from Andy Ricker. So stay tuned. Hope you enjoy the show. I'm here with Andy Ricker, chef restaurateur, Pok Restaurants, New York, LA, Seattle, Portland, Pok Cookbook. And I'm just outside of Chiang Mai in northern Thailand at his house. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for coming.
And you came here over 20 years ago. You seem perfectly at home here. You're more at home here than any other place. You just found something that seemed natural to you, or what?
I think to a certain extent it happened the first time I came. I think a lot of people come to Thailand and they find something they've been looking for. There's this feeling of laid-back friendliness that you encounter right away, and really appeals to a certain type of person. Most people, I would say.
There's no such thing as Thai cooking because they're different regions. So what are the regions and what are the basic differences?
So there's four basic regions of Thailand. There's the south of Thailand, which is peninsular Thailand. That the further south you go, the more ethnically Malay influence there is to the Thai. Then you get to central Thailand, which is where the seat of power and culture is in Bangkok. A lot of the food that we eat in the West comes from this region. The staple rice there is jasmine rice. And then there's northeastern Thailand, or Isan, which goes along Laos. The people there are primarily ethnically Lao. Staple rice there is sticky rice. And then the fourth major region is northern Thailand, which is where we are right now. Chiang Mai is the center of it. The people here speak northern Thai language, and their staple is sticky rice. So each individual region has a cuisine of its own. It just depends on where you are in that particular region. So one of my favorite things to make when I'm at home is fried rice, and it's a great dish to have if you just want to put something together quickly to eat by yourself, a one-plate meal. Day-old rice is great to use for this. A little drier, the grains of rice have kind of separated. It makes it easy to stir fry. You can use anything you have in your fridge. You have just a few basic seasonings, but really it could be almost anything. So what I had in the fridge is a little bit of pork belly. Flavor of pork is really nice. So to add some more flavor to this, we also can use a little bit of shallot, chopped shallot or onion. Onion works fine, a little bit of garlic maybe.
Fast food in the States is synonymous with bad food. I think that's fair to say. But a lot of the food here is fast because you're using very strong ingredients that don't need a lot of cooking because they're already flavored. Could you just talk about that as just an approach and a way of thinking about cooking?
The way that most food from Thailand works is that there's a lot of prep involved in advance. So you're chopping stuff, you're preparing it, you're cleaning herbs, you're slicing roots and that sort of thing. You might have to prepare a curry paste with a mortar and pestle, and that could be a little bit time consuming. But once you've assembled the elements, the actual cooking time is really quick. You're just assembling things quickly and seasoning them simply. That's one of the beautiful things about Thai cooking. It's kind of like fast, slow food. And then I'm just gonna add my rice. Probably about a good solid 2 cups is a good amount, like that. And then kind of stir and smash the rice to break the clumps apart.
I've noticed there's some combinations that are used all the time. Hot chilies with garlic that are mashed up. What are some of those pairings that are used as key flavorings in dishes?
There's a lot of combinations. Fish sauce, lime juice, palm sugar. Those 3 things together form the basis of the dressing for almost any kind of Thai-style salad. I'm going to use a little magic combination of fish sauce, about a teaspoon of fish sauce, and about the same amount of soy sauce. And then also, I'm going to add just a touch of sugar to this. We got some nice raw sugar there. Add some nice little sweetness to it. Now, when you add the fish sauce and soy sauce, you immediately get that nice perfume in food, unlike Western food, which kind of builds flavor over time to come up with monolithic, strong, rich flavor. Thai food and Southeast Asian food in general tends to be this kind of battle of different bright, salty, sweet, sour, hot, bitter, kind of all working together. But they don't meld to become one thing. You can taste everything that's going on all at once in a bite. Put it onto a plate. Now we've got some cilantro here that we picked from the garden earlier. I just sprinkle that over the top. Also, we've got some lime here that adds a nice little sour punch. It's got a little sour, it's got a little hot, a little salty. And then in the old Thai style, just kind of give it a little stir and take a little bite.
It's not heavy or greasy, which sometimes stir-fried rice is. A little bit of the pork belly, gives it a little sort of foundation for it. It's very, very good.
It's got protein, eggs, got some vegetables in it. It's
Nature's nearly perfect food.
Nearly perfect food.
Welcome to Milk Street. Yes. Okay, that's it. We're done. I was in Thailand a few months ago visiting Andy Ricker, who has a number of Pak restaurants in this country. And it was really a revelation because all the cooking was very quick, but he has very potent ingredients. He could take very simple things like rice and turn them into a complete meal in 5 or 10 minutes. And it's all about leftovers and a few really powerful ingredients. And a very powerful cook, Rayna, who's going to show us how to do it.
I love this recipe, Chris, because it uses leftovers, which is my personal favorite thing to do, sort of a waste not, want not kind of recipe. It uses leftover rice, and that's the base of it. So actually, I have here cooking 1.5 cups of jasmine rice, and it's important that we rinse it so that all the starch is gone. The grains want to be separate and not clumped or starchy.
By the way, you can freeze leftover rice. I didn't know this until recently, in a Ziploc-style bag in the freezer, and then take it out in maybe 30 to 60 seconds in a microwave. It works great.
So our rice is done. I want to prep this sheet pan I have here. This is going to help us cool the rice. So I have just a little bit of vegetable oil and a piece of parchment, and just the slightest touch. So
Do you paint?
How did you guess? That's ready to go. Let's get our rice. Jasmine rice has the same smell as my favorite flower, which is a night blooming jasmine. So I'm going to use just a spatula here, and we're going to take out our cooked fresh rice onto our prepared pan. And I just want to break up any lumps over here. I'm going to let the heat come down a little bit and then cover it and refrigerate it for at least 2 hours. And then we'll come back and finish making our fried rice.
When I was visiting Andy Ricker in Thailand, I noticed that a lot of restaurants had this ubiquitous condiment. It was simply a jar of white vinegar and chilies. So we took that idea and brought it back to Milk Street, and we're going to show you how to make our version. Now, the recipe only has 4 ingredients: 4 sliced jalapenos, a 1/4 cup of fish sauce, a 1/4 cup of lime juice, and just a teaspoon of sugar. Mix that up a little. Now let that sit for at least 30 minutes in the refrigerator before serving. It goes great with fried rice or any dish that needs a little bit of heat.
So, Chris, our rice has cooled for a couple of hours and the starches have recrystallized.
Ideally, you have leftover rice.
Ideally,
right?
yes.
Okay.
But if you have a hankering and 2 hours, you can do it this way. So I just want to go in and break up any remaining lumps. And I'm gonna just build our fried rice sauce. I have a teaspoon soy sauce, a teaspoon water, and some white sugar, also 1 teaspoon. And then our favorite ingredient, I have 1 tablespoon here of fish sauce.
Well, fish sauce, I didn't realize this till recently, is made from fish. I didn't know that. Anchovies and salt left in a barrel to ferment. the first pressing, the stuff at the bottom is the highest quality sauce, and that's used for this. But the good stuff's not fishy.
No, it's kind of like the extra virgin
Yeah.
olive oil of fish sauce is just pure fermented anchovies and salt. And that's it, it's a very easy sauce. This is a quick dish, but it requires a little bit of advanced preparation. It's important that everything be out and ready because it moves so fast. I have 2 eggs here that I'm going to semi-scramble. I have some pancetta here, which works really well as a substitute for pork belly because it's a cured pork product that's from the same part of the animal. So Chris, I'm going to whisk the eggs, and in the meantime, if you wouldn't mind turning on the heat to medium-high, and we're going to add a tablespoon of peanut oil. You can also use vegetable oil, and we're going to get that to a point where it's just starting to smoke.
Now, we should say that if you have a wok and you have a big burner, everything's done in the wok. You don't take things in and out, which is one of the benefits of the wok, because it's very hot in the middle and not as hot on the outside. So we could saute something, pull it back up, put the next thing in.
So we're kind of reverse engineering this dish from the way Andy did it. Most people have a nonstick skillet at home, and many people will not have a wok. So that's about reached smoke point. I'm going to go in with our eggs. It's about done. The skillet goes back on the heat, and now our pancetta goes in. So this is going to cook for about a minute or 2. I have it down on medium heat, just until the fat renders. And we're actually going to use some of that fat to cook the rice, and it's very flavorful. So our pancetta's cooked through, and it's gotten golden brown color, and you can see some of the fat has rendered out.
You know, you could put anything in this pan now, it would taste good?
It would.
It just doesn't matter.
I'm going to use a slotted spoon and take out the chopped bits of pancetta, and we're going to leave the oil in there. So this is part of that reverse engineering we talked about, putting them aside, and then we're going to add them back in at the end. Okay, so you can see the rendered fat is about a tablespoon, it looks like. If you had very fatty pancetta and it rendered much more fat, then I would actually pour it all off and then put back in a tablespoon of fat. This is where it moves quick. This is the fast
Was
part
that
of
a
the
warning
fast.
or what? Should I stand back or I should?
Stand by. I have here 1 shallot that's chopped, some scallion whites, and 1 clove of garlic that's chopped. And they're going to cook for about 30 seconds. I'm going to grab my rice.
Well, you're starting to look like Andy Ricker every second that goes by.
So about a minute is good to get the rice just heated through and get a little bit of frying action on the grains. And as you can see, it's really sort of separate and lovely. And then my sauce is going in. So this is just a quick stir when I add the sauce. And the last thing that goes in, our eggs and the pancetta. 1 quick stir and then we're done. And I love that this is a very economical recipe in that it uses up leftover rice. I love things that use leftovers and transform them into something fresh and different the next day.
So we have a little cilantro and...
A little cilantro, some scallion greens. We like to serve it with some lime wedges, some cucumber, and then my favorite, the pickled chilies.
You see this actually on almost every restaurant table in Chiang Mai.
You can be changed.
That can be. I love the pancetta. It has all those different flavors, a little bit of the fish sauce, which you don't really taste as fish.
It's a 1-bowl meal, like it has everything. It's got some vegetable, egg, protein.
But by the way, we had this very specific recipe with lots of bowls. You know, if you're making it, say, in Thailand, you just have whatever you have. You chop it up beforehand, and it takes literally 4 or 5 minutes in the wok, and it's just, you know, it's leftovers.
Oh, this is yum.
So today on Mill Street, we brought home a recipe from Andy Ricker from Chiang Mai, and just outside of Thailand, which was a very simple stir fry, a million ways to do it. He did it in a wok, we did it in a skillet, but the key components are leftover rice, egg, of course, some sort of meat, we used pancetta, and then a little bit of spice like soy sauce and scallions, a little green chilies are nice. So we just learned how to make a really quick and easy Tuesday night supper. Thank you, Rayna. Fabulous job.
You're welcome.
We're heading to Gayang Wichianburi. Wichianburi is a town in central Isan that's famous for grilled chicken. And so this style of grilled chicken is spread all the way throughout Thailand.
And is it how they grill it? It's what's on it? Or?
It's the recipe they use to marinate the chicken and then how they grill it too. And that's why I wanted to take you there, is to see their style of grilling. The main dishes are roasted chicken, and papaya salad. Basically, everybody who comes here will order those two things.
So quarter pounder and fries.
Exactly.
It's a simple menu.
It's a classic combination.
So they marinate in what?
Normally it's a combination of peppercorns, coriander root, coriander seed, sugar, fish sauce. So he builds a fire that's quite deep and gets it going with the charcoal. And once they've got it ignited, he takes ash from the day before, but he sprinkles it over the top of the fire to both tamp down the flames, hold the heat in, and also stop the drippings from catching on fire. So when he's cooking this many chickens at one time, this could turn into a flaming hell pretty quick. And he uses those bamboo clamps to vary the height of the chicken off the grill. So he'll start out flat,
That's really cool.
turn it around so that the breast gets cooked, and then turn it around again so that the legs are getting the majority of the heat. And eventually, he just leans them here to stay hot.
So you just pick up the chicken, dip it in the
Yep.
sauce. That's unbelievably good.
It's really tasty, right? Really delicious,
The
right?
best chicken I've ever had.
Really?
No, it's incredibly juicy, but it also has flavor to it.
Yeah. And the dipping sauce, I think,
It's phenomenal.
was excellent, yeah. The fruitiness of the tamarind, along with the heat, such a nice combination.
I've never had
Few
a
things
sauce like that. That's phenomenal. So, Matt, I know you've made a lot of grilled chicken, as have I, but I had this moment not too long ago. I was in the city of Chiang Mai with Andy Ricker of Pok Pok fame. You know Andy. And he took me to a place called Kiang Wichianburi, which means grilled chicken from the district of Wichianburi. And the two things that were extraordinary was the marinade was really strong. And the dipping sauce, which I could have taken a gallon home, was based on tamarind. It was spicy, but it was kind of sweet too. So I'd like you to recreate the recipe so I can have some more of it.
You could have just brought me along and we
could've,
could have
yes.
had a nice little trip. Luckily, I lived down the street from Andy's restaurant in Portland for a number of years, and my kids love this chicken. It's not too hot. I think this spice is what scares a lot of people off Thai cooking. This isn't. It's very flavorful, in part because that marinade is super salty. And salt, as we know, sucks flavor into food. It's gonna start with soy sauce, half a cup, which again is the salt and the deep flavor. Now comes the really pungent part, fish sauce. Half a cup again. It adds really deep flavor, and that pungency can really fade away. We're gonna use light brown sugar here, and that helps really crisp up the chicken and give it a good deep flavor. Next comes one of my favorite ingredients, lemongrass. It's gotten a lot easier to find, but I think a lot of people don't quite know how to use it. Not all of it is edible. We need to chop off the root stem here, which may take a little force. Then we take off everything but sort of the bottom 8 inches. That's the tender part, that's the edible part. You also want to peel off the outer layer, which can be fibrous too.
This adds a tremendous amount of flavor.
It does, and if you can't find lemongrass, what you can find in most markets now, lemongrass in a tube. So now we just cut crosswise into rings. This can be really tough if eaten raw. It's going to cook down in the chicken. So you can just scoop it right in. Up next comes cilantro. We're gonna use a full cup of cilantro here. The stems have a lot of flavor. It makes picking it awfully easy. Next comes garlic, 4 cloves of garlic. And we're gonna smash this gently so it breaks down quickly in the blender. Again, the veggie cleaver is great because you can just use the side of it and smash it. Now comes black peppercorns. This is the only heat here, and it's a tablespoon here. And white peppercorns are used a lot in Thai cooking. It's a slightly more floral flavor. I love the combination with fish sauce. And lastly, we're gonna add coriander seed. And what's coriander seed the seed of?
Cilantro.
Right, so they work perfectly together. And we're gonna let the blender rip here. So, we're gonna take the lid off. So we're gonna save a 1/4 cup of the marinade.
Boy, that when you took the
know.
top off, it was like, ugh.
It's that fish sauce white pepper combo and everything else in there. We're gonna reserve a 1/4 cup of this to save to glaze the chicken before it's done, and that helps revitalize the flavors there and add some sheen to it. Let's talk about the chicken. We went with parts here. Now we're using 2 split breasts and 2 whole legs. You could use whatever parts you wanted. It works for about 4 pounds of chicken. So pour the marinade in.
We should just say the marinade doesn't really get deep into meats, but this attaches itself to the chicken, so you get a tremendous amount of flavor with it.
Yes. We're gonna seal that bag up, squeeze some of the air out, give it a little squeezed coat. Then we're gonna refrigerate this for 2 hours. Not much more, or it's gonna get too salty.
Okay.
It's been 2 hours. I pulled the chicken. Now, this marinade, you don't need to wipe it off or anything. This is gonna add a lot of flavor to the chicken as it roasts. So it's a rimmed baking sheet, and we're gonna wrap it in foil, otherwise it makes an unholy mess. And we're gonna cover the bottom with salt. This prevents the grease from burning. So we're gonna cook the chicken on a rack, but let's spray that rack so the chicken doesn't stick to it. Now let's arrange that chicken on here. Remember, we have 2 whole legs and 2 whole breasts.
I remember.
You can count.
I'm not that bright, but I can count to 4. So you can do this on the grill. And the first secret about grilling chicken is you really don't want high heat. You want one side with about medium heat, the other side no heat. Sear both sides and move it to the unheated side and put the top on and let it essentially roast.
The oven sounds easier. I'm sure grilling's great.
Tastes good on the grill.
It's gonna taste great. Now,
Okay.
middle rack, 400 degrees for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, we're gonna pull it out and brush it with that remaining glaze. After that, it's about another 10 or 15 minutes. We pulled the chicken out. It was about 45 minutes. Needs to rest 20 minutes. And that's the hard part. It smells so good, but now we're gonna make our sauce while we wait. So we came up with 2 different sauces for this. One is a really simple, quick table sauce. It's a lot like nam prik, which is served like ketchup in Thailand, like almost on every table. It starts with a half cup of lime juice, more fish sauce. We're putting 2 tablespoons in, and 2 tablespoons light brown sugar. And for a little bit of heat, we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of the chili garlic sauce. And we're gonna whisk that up. That's it.
So that was easy.
The second sauce is a little more complicated, and it's based on the sauce you had with Andy.
Which is served at the table. It's a tamarind-based, barbecue sauce. It's made with tamarind paste. You can actually buy tamarind paste online.
It's simple. Most of the ingredients beyond the tamarind paste are really staples. It's ginger, it's shallots, it's tomato paste, and more of the lemongrass. And you can find the recipe on the website.
And that's it right there.
It is. It's right here. It's this gorgeous, almost caramel-like brown. So we have both our sauces. So let's eat. White meat?
Yes. This is more of it. This is quite good.
I'll take some of this quick sauce here.
Now, one thing I noticed when I made this recipe too is that, as you said, the marinade and the lemongrass and other things in the marinade actually stick to the outside. So there's a lot of flavor on the outside of the bird. And that lemongrass, it actually comes through. It's a very strong flavor.
You're right about this tamarind. I would eat this off a shoe.
This has about 5 different flavors at one time, because tamarind's a little exotic, a little floral, a little bit sweet. It's hot. So here at Milk Street, we learned something about Thai cooking, which is really big, bold, fresh flavors. Fish sauce, soy sauce, lemongrass. We actually use some tamarind as well. Those big flavors you can put on almost anything, including chicken, and it's just a whole different experience. This particular recipe was simple enough with a marinade, but the outside stuck to the bird, so you get great flavor. And then those 2 sauces, one of which was really simple. The other one took about 15 minutes with a tamarind, which is the best thing you'll ever probably eat in your entire life, so I suggest you make it. So by the way, you can get all the recipes from this season at our website, which is milkstreettv.com.